Hello, welcome to this yoga class. Thank you for joining me. I've designed a sequence for us today that will help us to train for surfing at times when we can't go surfing, so that we'll be ready for it when we get the opportunity again. We'll be working on our core strength, our back strength, our arm strength, balance, and hip mobility. Do try to challenge yourself, because when we do that, we build stamina and strength, but always listen to your own body and find your edge. So if you ever need to take a break, come to child's pose. And as always, I'm just your guide, so if there's another variation or another pose that you know is better for you, then please take that instead. We'll start now in child's pose. Come onto your mat with your big toes touching and your knees wide. Reach your arms forwards and drop your chest and your forehead down onto the mat. Tune in to the rhythm of your breath. Bring your inhale deep into your belly and your chest. Fill your lungs and exhale, a clearing sigh out of your mouth. Full inhales and clearing exhales. Thank yourself for taking the time to practice yoga today, for yourself, your health, and your well-being. In this practice, we'll consider some of the stories and the labels that we use for experiences in our lives. Sometimes when we tell ourselves, I am this or I am that, we unconsciously bind ourselves to it and have even more of this experience. Often experiences that we would rather not have so much of. In this practice, we'll tune into the present moment and notice the experience for what it really is. We can imagine if it had never been named before, be so curious about it to consider what it actually feels to feel this way.
What number are you looking for?
Walk your hands back and sit back onto your heels. We'll begin to warm up into our wrists. Reach your arms out in front of you and draw your fingertips back towards your armpits. And start to draw some semicircles with your hands. Reach your fingertips in the opposite direction, facing your palms forwards. And draw some semicircles this way. Make some circles with your wrists and go in the opposite direction. Come to sit in a cross-legged position. Inhale and sit tall, reaching out through the crown of your head. Raise your arms up over your head in line with your ears. And as you exhale, bring your left fingertips to the mat beside you and lean towards the left. But don't concern yourself with how far you come over. More press your lower right ribs up towards the corner of the room and really feel the stretch in your right side. Roll your right arm back over behind your ear, so open up through your chest. Inhale back to center, arms high. And exhale, fingertips to the right. Lean over towards the right, lifting your lower left ribs towards the top corner of the room and rolling your left arm over towards the back of your ear to open up through your chest. Moving with your breath, inhale back to center and exhale to the left. Inhale back to center and exhale to the right. Bring the soles of your feet together into a wide diamond shape and bring your hands onto your shins. Reach your heart forwards, the centre of your heart as though it's being pulled on a rope. Don't roll over your legs, but just find some sensation, some stretch through your hips. And with your next exhale, roll back, roll over your legs, and come onto your hands and your knees. Your hands are underneath your shoulders and your fingers are stretched wide. Root down through the index mound of your index finger, that corner of your palm, and roll up through your upper back, keeping your pelvis neutral. Now just lose all of this engagement and let your heart fall between your arms, your shoulder blades drawn towards each other. Remember how this feels right now. And then roll up again in your upper back, pressing down through the mounds of your index fingers. Imagine that there's a string that runs from each of those fingers all the way around your inner forearms as they hug towards each other and arcing around your chest. This is an engagement that we'll come back to in a few poses in this practice. This keeps our body engaged and our shoulders in a safe and secure position. So come to a neutral spine, tuck your toes, and press up and back to downward facing dog. Your feet are hip distance apart and parallel. Your spine is long and your knees can be bent. Prioritize the length through your spine. As you inhale, round through your back and bring your shoulders over your wrists. Remember that round through your upper back, that lifting and engagement, and find that here. High plank. As you exhale, glide your shoulders forwards of your wrists, bend your elbows, and bring your shoulders in line with your elbows for chaturanga. Draw your heart through your arms as your pelvis places onto the ground. Untuck your toes. Root down through your toes and your pubic bone to lift your back and your heart. Hover your hands. Here we build strength in your back for all the time that we spend paddling on our surfboard and in a very similar position. With your exhale, plant your hands back down beside your lower ribs. Roll over. Press back through your hands and your knees. Tuck your toes. Press your hips up and back to a downward facing dog. Find your breath. With your inhale, reach your left leg high to a three-legged downward dog. And exhale, round through your back, bring your knee to your nose, hold, and step your left foot to your left thumb. Sink your back knee, root down through your front foot to press you up to a low lunge. Draw your feet towards each other. Then press through your front heel as your hips glide back, your front leg towards straight, belly to thigh, forward folds. Sink your left foot to the ground. Gaze forwards and bring your hands forwards and wide of your front foot. Lift your back knee and press so firmly through your left foot that your right foot can hover. Square your hips and check that they're square by looking back at your toes and checking that your baby toe is pointed towards the ground. Inhale and exhale. We'll work on our balance with a slight bend in our standing knee. Bring your left hand and hug it onto the back of your calf. Then bring your right hand to meet it. Don't worry if you wobble and fall. Just get back up, and the practice is how quickly you can let go of this. Try and challenge yourself here. Bring your hands back to the ground and bring your right foot to meet your left foot, hip distance apart and parallel. Inhale, reach through the crown of your head to a flat back hands to the ground or your shins. And exhale, fold over your legs, bringing your heart towards your toes. Inhale to a flat back, and exhale, plant your hands and step your right foot to the back of the mat, followed by your left hip distance apart. Exhale, glide your shoulders forwards of your wrists, bend through your elbows and bring your shoulders in line with your elbows for chaturanga. Draw your heart through your arms as your pelvis reaches to the ground. Untuck your toes, root down through your toes and your pubic bone. This time, bring your palms to face onto the ground. As you root down through your pelvis, engage your lower back and middle back and upper back. Hover your hands as though someone's pulling them back behind you, and then pressing the insides of your big toes together, float your feet up off the ground as well. Reaching long out through your toes and out and forward through the crown of your head. Find more height here. Inhale and exhale. Bring your hands to place beside your lower ribs. Press back through your hands and your knees. Tuck your toes and press your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Immediately inhale your right leg high, three-legged downward dog. As you inhale, round through your back, knee to nose, and step your right foot to your right thumb. Sink your back knee, press down through your front foot to rise you up. Low lunge. Draw your feet towards each other. Inhale, grow tall, and exhale. Glide your hips back, your front leg towards straight, belly to thigh. Inhale, sink your front foot to the floor. Gaze forwards, hands are forwards and wide of your foot. Tuck your toes and press your back knee off the ground. Root down through your front foot, pressing down so firmly that your back foot can hover. Hips square. Find your inhale. And with your exhale, bring your right hand and hold it onto your calf of your standing leg, and then your other hand. Challenge your balance. Notice the calibrations in your feet as you're building strength in your feet, in the arches, the joints, the tendons. Bring your hands back to the mat and bring your left foot to meet your right foot hip distance apart and parallel. Inhale, find length through your spine, reaching out through the crown of your head, and exhale, fold over your legs, join your heart towards your toes. Inhale to find length, and exhale, plant your hands and step your left foot to the back of the mat, followed by your right. Glide your shoulders forwards of your wrists and bend your elbows to 90 degrees, chaturanga. Bring your heart through your arms and lower your hips to the ground. Untuck your toes and root down through your toes and your pubic bone. With your hands reaching back behind you, palms facing towards the ground. Inhale, find length reaching through the crown of your head. As you exhale, lift up through your back. Float your feet off of the ground. Building strength, inner back. Inhale. And exhale. Plant your hands beside your low ribs. Press back through your hands and your knees. Press your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg high to three-legged downward dog. And as you exhale, bring your knee round through your back. Knee to opposite tricep. Left knee to right tricep and hold. Press back to a three-legged downward dog and open up, stacking your hips. And exhale. Bring your left knee to your left tricep. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Your front knee is over your front ankle. Find buoyancy in your back leg and reach your heart forwards. As you exhale, you can sink low into your hips and bring your heart forwards and down. Inhale, press up. And walk your front foot so that it's framed with your hands and your feet are hip distance apart. Root down through your front foot and engage your core, drawing your navel towards your spine to rise you up to a high lunge. Inhale, reach tall, and exhale, sink. Inhale, and with your exhale, rotate to the left, reaching your right hand forwards, keeping your lower body exactly as it was. Inhale back to center, and exhale, plant your hands to frame your front foot, round your upper back, and press back to a downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg to three-legged downward dog, and exhale round. Bring your right knee to your left tricep. Hold. Inhale, and press your knee high, stack your hips, three-legged downward dog, and exhale, round. Bring your right knee to your right tricep. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Your front knee is over your front ankle. Find buoyancy in your back thigh and square your hips. With your exhale, sink low into your hips and let your heart drive you forwards and down. Tune into your breath and notice what you feel. Notice your experience for what it is right now. Inhale, rise up and walk your front foot so your feet are hip distance apart. Press down through your front heel. Engage your core, drawing your front body to your back body to rise you up to low lunge, high lunge. Inhale to reach, grow tall, and exhale. Rotate to the right, reaching your left hand forwards and keeping your lower body exactly as it was. Inhale and exhale. Inhale back to center, and exhale. Frame your front foot and step back to downward facing dog. Tune in with your breath. Notice the sensations in your body. Come to sit back onto your heels. We're going to do 5 frog jumps now. So if you haven't done this before, you can look to your screen for a quick demo. This is a good practice, a good exercise to make our pop-ups a lot more poppy, a lot more springy. So we start in downward facing dog, our fingers spread wide. Really root down through your fingertips because they will be our brakes. Walk your downward dog in just a foot to shorten it. And with your inhale, look to your hands. Bring your heels over the balls of your feet and exhale, bend through your knees to load your springs. Then at the end of your exhale, you hop and kick your heels to your butt. So come to downward dog. Shorten your downward dog by stepping in just a foot. Imagine that your mat is like a trampoline. So we go bounce from one straight into the next one. Look to your hands, inhale, look to your hands, bring your heels over the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees, load your springs. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back to sit onto your heels, close your eyes, rest your hands on your thighs, and just notice your experience. Reach your hands out in front of you, press back through your toes, hips high to downward facing dog. Lift your heels and spin them to the left. Place your right foot flat onto the ground and feel the stretch through your right side. Come back to center, downward facing dog. Inhale, heels over your toes, and exhale, spin to the right, rooting down through your left foot, left foot flat to the ground to feel the stretch through your left side. Inhale, back to centre. And exhale. Inhale, bring your heels high, spin to the left, and this time, root down flat through your left foot, rooting down through your big toe and keeping a bend in your knee. Bring the weight onto your left hand, rooting down through your index mound, and remember that buoyancy up into your shoulder. Hug your shoulder blades onto your back, keeping a micro bend in your elbow, and bring your right elbow and right knee to float up towards the sky. From here, for the first variation, you can go back to downward dog and step to the top of the mat, or if you want to follow me, bring your right hand behind your right thigh, look to the top of the mat and step there slowly for 3, 2, 1. Awesome, good job. Spin your left heel so your back foot is parallel with the back of the mat. Your feet are heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. Wrap your right glute underneath you and windmill your arms up to warrior 2. Inhale, reach high, reverse your warrior. And exhale, back to warrior 2. Reach your right arm forwards as your right leg comes towards straight. And drop your right hand onto your shin or the ground. Finding length in both sides of your body. You can gaze to your top arm. Inhale and exhale. Bring your hands to frame your front foot. Press round your upper back and step back to downward facing dog. Now we'll do that on the other side. Inhale, bring your heels high over your toes, spin your heels to the right and root down through your right foot and your big toe. Keep a bend in your right leg and root down through your index mound. Hug your right shoulder blades onto your back and find buoyancy in your shoulder. And then hover your left knee and elbow, float up to the sky like you're a puppet. Now either come back through downward dog or bring your left hand behind your left thigh, look to the top of the mat and step there slowly for 3, 2, 1. Good. Spin your right heel so it's parallel with the back of the mat. Wrap your left glute underneath you and windmill your arms up to warrior 2. Inhale, reach your left arm high, reverse your warrior. And exhale, come back to warrior 2. Reach your left arm as far as you can forwards as your left leg comes towards straight. And then place your left hand onto your shin or the ground and gaze up to your right arm. If your left hand is on your shin, keep it very light there. Don't dump into your shin. Inhale and exhale. Bring your hands to frame your front foot, round through your upper back and step back to downward facing dog. Bring your knees to the ground and just rest for a moment, sitting back onto your heels. Notice what you feel. Notice what has shifted, what's maybe different from before, what's changed. Shift your hips to the left and bring your right foot to the outside of your left thigh, your left knee in front of your pelvis. Inhale, sit tall, and bring your left hand in between your shoulder blades at your upper back. Bring your right hand onto your left elbow to help you. Now you can bring your right hand, with the palm facing the back of the room, bring it to your lower back, middle back, or wiggle your hands to find a clasp. If you've found the clasp, pull your elbows towards each other, roll your shoulders open, and press your head back into your forearm. Inhale and exhale. Unclasp your hands Lean back and switch the cross of your legs. Reach your arms high and bring your right hand to your upper back in between your shoulder blades. Left hand onto your elbow. Your left palm faces the back of the room as your left hand comes to your lower back, middle back, or you reach to find the clasp. Draw your elbows towards each other and roll your shoulders open, pressing your head back into your forearm. Come back to one breath. Unclasp your hands, uncross your legs, and roll over your legs to bring your belly down onto the mat and lie onto the mat. Reach your left arm parallel to your mat, in line with your shoulder, palm is facing the ground. Your left ear to the mat, and come up onto the fingertips of your right hand. Roll over onto your left side and bring the sole of your right foot to the mat behind you. Feel the stretch into the front of your chest. Inhale. Exhale. Roll back onto your front. Reach your right arm out to the right side in the same way, palm facing the ground. Your right ear comes to your mat and you turn up onto your left fingertips, roll onto your right side. Your left sole of your foot comes to the mat behind you. Inhale. And exhale fully. Roll back onto your front, reach your arms out above your head and just roll onto your back. Shift yourself back onto your mat. Hug your knees into your chest, hug your arms around your shins. Give yourself a really tight hug and maybe roll a little on your back if that feels good. And stretch your legs, your feet out to the bottom corners of your mat. Take up space. Press down through your elbows and the top of your head and back of your head to lift your upper back up towards the top of your mat and place it back down. Just let everything, all of your muscles, let go, soften, release. Notice your breath. Maybe close over your eyes for a final resting pose. Thank yourself for what you've done today, for what you've managed and achieved. Feel supported by the ground. Let yourself sink and be heavy. Notice everything, all the details about the present moment and how you feel. Your current experience as though you had no words for them. Just feel what it really feels like. When we allow all feelings, we make space to process them, and then this processing makes way for change and new experiences come. I won't tell you how long to spend here in Shavasana. Listen to your own body and what you need today, and stay here for as long as you need.